For me, I carry 3 separate notebooks all day long. Now, you might say, Adam, that sounds a little bit obsessive, but it's the only way that I don't lose my mind. For me, it helps me stay consistent. So, one of the biggest leaks in human productivity is the thought that, oh, yeah, I'll remember this later. But guess what? Spoiler alert, you won't. You either forget, you'll procrastinate, or you'll mull it over to death. And that causes mental overhead, distraction, decision fatigue. So, what's the antidote? You have to externalize it. Get it out of your brain and get it into a system. So here's what I do. And I've refined the system over many, many years. I have a training log notebook, and everything that pertains to my workouts, progress notes, our lists, fatigues, movement, technique, all that, right? It goes into that one. It is right here. That's my training log. And I carry it to the gym every single time that I train. I also have a personal notebook. This is where all my ideas, my journaling, right, goes into here. I dump thoughts, right, reflections, ideas, random mental clusters, all of that. I also have a planning notebook. And that one is my bullet journal or my daily plan book. And at different times of the day, I grab all 3 of them. I grab the most relevant one that I need at that moment. Right? And I do that. Why is this so powerful? Why do I do this? It reduces the mental clutter. Right? I don't have to carry all these ideas, tasks, and stress in my head. It also, for me, keeps a record, a history. When I feel stuck, I can look back. I can see patterns. I can see progress. It also separates my domains. My training doesn't bleed into my personal, which doesn't bleed into my professional, right? My to-do lists and my dreams and all of that. It also allows me to enable what I call context switching. When you switch from work to gym, to reflection, to carrying over ideas and only relevant sort of business information. So how do you make this practical? Well, you choose your medium. If you like analog, get actual notebooks like I do. If you prefer something digital, use separate apps on iOS or Android. And then create domains or buckets and use those notebooks per that domain. And resist mixing everything together, right? Take 5 minutes and dump everything out. And use it in real time. When a thought comes to you, drop it into the relevant notebook rather than letting it orbit in your head. And then maybe once per week, review your notebook in your training logs, see trends in your plan, whatever it might be, in your journal, and reflect over the course of a week or a month. Now, let me illustrate with just one small example. A couple months ago, I was juggling some projects and some coaching and some content creation and some training, and I started losing keys to what I needed to be doing next. Right? I scribbled in multiple random places, on note cards, on post-it notes. Right? It was fragmented at best. Then when I went back to my dedicated notebook system, within a week, I regained my mental clarity. Within a month, I was already hitting those goals, right? I was accomplishing those tests. The difference wasn't working harder. It was just using smarter brain hygiene, if you will, right? You have to be careful because this is the only useful if you actually use them. The trap is buying notebooks. Sure, you can buy a bunch of notebooks, sure, whatever, right? But if you never open it and you never record anything, the habit, right? It's gone. You never even established one in the first place.